What's going on, y'all? It's Nick here with F.O.F Financial Coaching LLC, and I'm here today to talk about what else? Money. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Now, you already know, as your financial coach, I want to see you do well with money. I want to see you transcend with money. I want to see you be the best steward that you can be with the money that God has entrusted you with, okay? So listen, we're in part three of our series on debt. I hope you guys are taking a lot out of this. Now, in part two, I left you all off with about to give an example about how you can count the cost. We're going to get straight into that example on how to count the cost. Again, I'm not going to use any math. There will be some numbers involved, but I just want to get you guys thinking outside the box on, is this a good decision? Is this not a good decision? All right, but the choice is yours. I hope we make the right one. So look, if you want to see this video as well as any of my other videos, please don't hesitate. So go to my website at www.foffcoaching.com. okay, you can contact me there, or if you would like to contact me a different way, you can always use my email address at foffcoaching@gmail.com. okay, so listen, I hope you guys are ready for this video. We're really going to get into some things that I hope expand your mind and open it up to help you make really good decisions. But also, praying is so important as well when you're talking about your money, especially if you're a believer. You guys enjoy the video. Thank you. We're going to say we got a credit card. Somebody's making a decision if they're going to get a credit card or not. Okay, so like right now, let's look at a benefit of the credit card. Okay, so if we got like what, $1,000, we'll say if you have spent $1,000, okay, on the credit card, you got one side. Let's say you get a benefit of, I'm gonna just call this a B. Your benefit is you get, let's say 1%. Okay, the credit card give you 1% back on the $1,000, right? Sounds good. But now let's say you don't pay off the credit card. Anybody know how much you would have to pay in interest if you don't pay off a credit card? Any idea? They always tell you, it's always in the fine print. So you said 12. So depending on, right. So most of the time, it's somewhere between like 14 and 25%, usually around there. The ones that they send to us, like, hey, you can get this credit card, usually around 14 to 20%, something like that. So let's say your interest, if you don't pay, right, your interest is going to be 20%. I'm going to just go 20. It's about the middle. About the riddle, okay? So now think about this. Think about this. No math. I don't even want to do any math or anything like that because it's not even important. Do you feel like buying something on $1,000 on a credit card, so your gain would be 1% of that? Or if you miss it and you don't hit it, your loss would be 20% of whatever the minimum payment is on there. So let's say minimum payment is like $50. So it'd be 20% on like $950. So just from looking at the situation, I'm not even doing math, does this a good deal? Is the question.
Nope.
No. Not a good deal? No deal? Everybody's like, no deal?
No deal.
No deal? Okay. So it's a similar thing. So before the class started, me and Mike were in here talking. We were talking about doing real estate. And I was telling him, you know, a lot of people, they like to get loans and do all that stuff and get real estate and be landlords. But something similar to doing that, if you're doing anything, I'm just trying to get you guys to see how counting the cost with your finances is important. So let's say you get a loan, you get a rental house, okay? And let's say, again, we'll do something similar. We're gonna say $1,000 is what you charge for rent, okay? Seems like a good amount. But now let's say, you know, your mortgage is like $600 on that, okay? So you gotta subtract $600. But then let's also say between you got, you know, insurance, you got tax, you got all these other things, vacancies, all these things you need to put in there. So let's say it's like $200 with all these other miscellaneous things you need to save for. So you're only really coming home with, what's that, $200? Okay, so you subtract all that. So now you have to ask yourself, is being a landlord worth $200 a month? Now, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I'm just saying, when we talk about counting the cost, just think about, okay, if I do this, what are some of the benefits? And if I do this, what are the cons? Now, to me, if I can get rid of $600, right, and only have to spend $200 per month, that might make a little bit more sense to me. But to some people, they like to get a loan and say, yeah, I'm making all this money, but they're not really making money because they haven't counted the cost to say, hey, does this make sense? Now, who would have thought math could be biblical? I don't know. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Okay? So anyway, those are just ways that I want you guys to think about anytime you're making a financial decision. I don't care what it is, that you just count the cost. You don't need a lot of math. You don't need to be all savvy and super rocket science. It's just counting the cost. Just sitting back and looking at, hey, does this make any sense? All right? Okay. So the next, was there any questions from there? Anybody got any questions, any thoughts?
Well, my thing back to the credit card,
Mm-hmm.
and why I admire people who can get the rewards, pay it off,
Yeah.
and do that. But it's a mindset. Like, you really have to train yourself.
Right.
I, get a credit card. I had no financial thing, but I read financial stuff
Yeah.
all my life. So it's been a practice, right? And then when I think I got it all, I'm doing great.
Right.
No credit cards paid off. Okay, so I can do the rewards and get the.
Yeah.
Well, for me, no, that means I have money, available credit.
Yeah.
So just like that couch on about $3,000. Well, I got like a $40,000 credit limit.
Right.
So I could get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But no, that's not money.
Yeah.
I have to tell myself, I do not have money.
There you go.
Available credit does not equal money.
There you go.
Right? If I go to McDonald's and this is what it used to be, I would go with my friends. Well, I have a credit card. I have $1,000. Well, I can get something for everybody. I can pay for everybody's food, right? Because I think I have money.
Right.
So it's more about when you have the credit card is behavioral.
Yeah, it
You know
is.
what I'm saying? Now, so you're just thinking that you have money.
It is.
You don't have money. It's not.
It is.
Money.
So in our last class, we talked about using cash. So they're talking about how using cash is better. When you use cash, there's certain pain receptors.
You're not gonna buy nothing.
Right. Exactly. And I gave the example. How many? Right. But how many times have you went somewhere and been like, oh, I want to buy this, but I got to break a 20. So no, I'm not going to buy it. Let me put that right back in my pocket because I don't want to break a 20 off of this, whatever it is I'm trying to buy. You know what I'm saying? But when you got plastic, it doesn't resonate the same, right? It's just a plastic thing. You don't see it. You don't see that something's gone from you. You just like swipe. Oh, I get to keep my card. Put it back in my pocket. Versus when you got actual money, you like, here, now I don't have this anymore. Or you give me change that's of lesser value than what I gave you, but I got the material. Okay, so that's another thing that's important for us to keep in mind is that using cash is good. They say cash is king. That really hasn't changed when it comes to financial things, okay? And we got to keep that in mind because I want you guys to make good financial decisions, all right? And the other thing too, Rainey, is what you were talking about with that couch. You were talking about how you'd have to pay $200 per month. And so one of my favorite scriptures, it's not my favorite, but one of them, is Proverbs 10:22. And it says, blessings make one rich, and with them there is no sorrow. So it's so interesting to me when people be like, oh, I bought the car, or I bought the couch, or I bought the house, and then like the Lord blessed me. He blessed me so much, I bought this. And then 6 months later, they be like, this car payment is killing me, man. Like, this payment is destroying me. And you think to yourself, so is that really a blessing from the Lord? Because it says blessings make one rich, and with it there's no sorrow. And it's not like you got a lot of sorrow. I know people who got a house and stuff start breaking down immediately. And they like, oh man, we don't have this, we don't have the money to this. We got to get credit cards to get this, to get that. Because their financial situation wasn't in that spot to get the house yet. And it's okay. That's what we got to realize. It's okay. You're just not there yet. You're just not there yet. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You're not better or worse than somebody else. But again, I want y'all to remember that blessings make one rich, and with them there's no sorrow. So the next time you get something and now you feeling bad that you got it, obviously I don't know if that's from the Lord. You may have to do some recalibrating. You may have to do some, let me talk to Jesus about this a little bit. Because once you make the mistake, the big thing is identifying that you did. It's not turning away. It's the same thing with sin, right? If you sin, the Lord is saying, I want you to confess your sins to me. I want you to let me know that you're sinning. I want you to talk to me about it. In order to change your behavior, to change a problem, you got to confess. You got to be real with yourself. You got to be authentic about it. All right. So now the next portion, if somebody will read Proverbs 22:7. This scripture already got brought up today, but let's go through it, please.
The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender.
Whew. Can you read that again, please, with a little bit more oomph?
The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender.
Okay, so how y'all feel about that? How y'all even feel about that scripture? true. But I feel like the Bible be true until it like applies to you. Then it'd be like, I don't know if this is true or not. Like then we'd be like uncertain about it. I don't know if I'm a slave to somebody. I don't think that that's what that means. I think we kind of like to, you know, oh, I'm a servant to somebody if I owe them money. That's not the case. But like you said, 2,000 years. This is in years of how does this apply now?
It's back to like Ryan said earlier. When you owe somebody, you're worrying about it,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you get it paid,
Mm-hmm.
and it bothers you.
Yeah.
So you are a slave to it because it has you under its constant worry. Think, oh gosh, this payment's gonna be due.
Right.
Am I gonna make this payment on time?
Right.
Gosh, this interest keep at. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a slave to that man.
And with that, it also says in the word, so it all connects, right? Be anxious about nothing. So that's why I can't do credit cards, because I be too anxious. So something's not right in my spirit that I shouldn't. It's just like I'm so anxious about getting this thing paid because I would be furious if I had to pay interest on a credit. I would be furious. And I had a credit card for like 8 months or something like that. I didn't get one until I was like 27, 28. I thought I had to build my credit, all this kind of stuff. And I didn't do it. And I was just like, ooh, it's not going to, so I had to get rid of that thing. It just couldn't, it just was not for me. But I knew it because some of the information that I knew, and it was just like I was getting convicted. Like, you know what? I don't think this is the right thing. I shouldn't be concerned about trying to pay this off. I shouldn't be concerned. And taking it to a step further, so one of my homies, he said, so they was using a credit card. Him and his wife, they use a credit card. He said his wife forgot to pay it. He said, man, I was furious at her. So now you got an argument all in your marriage over this situation that I think Mike said earlier, that that's not really how God intended it to be. It's already too many issues with marriage in general, like that you got to go through. Now you want to pour money on top of that as an issue. Money is like the third leading cause of divorce in America. So we don't want that to be a stronghold. We don't want that to be an issue in our marriage, but so many times it does because of the choices that we make. All right, so you all said this scripture is the truth. You all say you believe it. And so why then do we go the other way? Why then do we just say, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into debt? Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, as we left off, of course, the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender, all right? And like I was saying, everybody will say it's true. Everybody will say that they see it in the word, especially for those of us that believe. But it's kind of like, why are we not doing that, right? Why are we still putting ourselves in positions where we continue to borrow, where we continue to have debt, where we continue to just dig a deeper hole for ourselves? So we got to stop that, all right? So I hope that you took something from this video. I hope that you really start to think about what you're doing when you start to go into debt, okay? Because listen, you work way too hard. Way too hard to be scrounging, to be in debt, to be slave to the lender, all right? So instead of doing that, I want you to choose faith over fear for your finances, and of course,